Welcome to this week's Seminar Sunday. It's that time of year when Toastmasters all over the world are scrambling to build effective teams. From the club president all the way to the district director, new teams are emerging and everyone wants to be successful. Therefore, this week's topic is building a team. Now, my name is Sean Gold. I'm the current District 21 director. 3 more weeks to go. And I will be your host this evening. The objectives for this session are to learn how to effectively build a team. That often involves identifying the skills and competencies needed, motivating your team, developing a plan, delegating tasks, and successful completion by leading with confidence. These objectives apply to any team, regardless of whether you have the opportunity to create the team for a personal project, or you're asked to lead a team where you have no choice on the members, or where you have no choice on the outcome because it's predetermined. Let's look at, before we get too far, let's look at what is a leadership. What does it involve? And let's agree on what successful leadership requires. Skills, influence, and determination. If you develop these characteristics and values, you will be able to achieve success, or at least you have a better chance of achieving success. To be clear, that there is a big difference though between the roles of manager and leader. Many managers are powerful leaders, and some leaders make excellent managers, but they're not the same. While a person may be both a manager and a leader, there is a difference in the skill sets needed for these roles. Within Toastmasters, managing is defined by planning, organizing, and facilitating specific tasks. Leadership is about people. Whether they are working with individuals or groups, leaders build camaraderie and empower others to learn and develop. Leaders can come from anywhere. Whether you possess formal management experience or not, you can be an effective leader. And that's where leaders are made. That's why Toastmasters byline is where leaders are made. We can all become effective leaders. Now, some leaders have a formal title or rank that commands respect and attention. People follow them because they're designated to the role by their title. For example, I am a district director. That has a formal authority associated with it. However, there are other leaders who possess an incredible ability to lead, but not a title. It is derived from personal relationships and a keen ability to understand the people around them, and also potentially through some skills that you've developed along the way. Maybe a DTM has given you the skills to become a good, strong leader. Whatever background it is, you can earn authority. You don't have to have formal authority to be a leader. And regardless of whether or not a successful leader has formal or earned authority, the leader shares a capacity to influence others and successfully complete tasks. The ideal situation for a leader is to have both formal authority and earned authority. But you can be effective without a title when you possess a high level of earned authority. So you don't have to have the title in order to be persuasive and be able to impact and lead others. Just need to have the skills associated with doing so. And that's what we'll be talking about further. Now, one of the important things to note is that leading within a volunteer organization is its own special animal. We all need to understand that we're not being paid. No one is being paid in this organization to do a role. We're doing this because we see that there's value in it. A little bit of value for ourselves in being able to learn the leadership skills that we want, but also to be able to help the overall members and to be able to help the organization and to achieve the goals and successes that we know that Toastmasters can provide. Altruistic leadership is a type of leadership that places the empowerment of others and the needs of the team above the leader's personal need for credit and acclaim. The core of this type of leadership involves building positive relationships and working with a set of values that emphasize worthwhile contributions. Altruistic leaders are willing to step back and allow the good of their team, their organization, and their project to be the force that drives decisions. It's not focusing on what's in it for me. It's willing to step up back and say, what can my organization gain from it? What can I do to help others? Now, there's 6 areas of altruistic leadership that we're going to explore: visions and values, direction, persuasion, support, development, and last but not least, appreciation. Let's look at vision and values first. It's important for leaders to envision the ideal future of their project or organization while staying focused and engaged in the present. To be effective, they need to clearly communicate their vision and values to others, and also to demonstrate a high level of integrity by allowing their values to guide their actions. Leaders clearly define their vision and demonstrate their values in the way that they lead. Now, this is the Toastmasters core values coin. I'm sure that many of you have seen it before. The value or the vision that's on there is where leaders are made, and the values, the core values, are integrity, respect, service, and excellence. An effective leader, the most effective leaders that are out there, are able to clearly establish the vision and the values of their project or organization. Second up is direction. One of the first steps in leading a team to being able to to the successful completion of a project is by identifying the tasks that need to be completed. And once the tasks have been determined, a leader needs to then set goals and establish priorities. Now, part of this process is to delegate responsibilities and support team members in accomplishing the tasks necessary to turn that vision into reality. Now, in short, leaders set goals, establish priorities, and delegate responsibility. Now, the third item is persuasion. The ability to persuade others to see, understand, and believe in a vision is a fundamental skill for successful leadership. When others believe in the vision, they are more likely to commit themselves to achieving it. Leaders have the confidence to stay focused on their goals and persuade others to join them. The enthusiasm, the excitement that you have for your organization shows that you believe in it, or your project, that you believe in it, and that becomes infective and gets people excited about it. And that's what can help persuade them to do it. So make sure that you're clear about what it is you want to achieve. And if you do that and you get enthusiasm, if you have the enthusiasm to support it, it will also be a very persuasive skill and bring others along with you. Providing support to all team members will help them function as a cohesive unit. When each team member has the necessary resources, the tools, and understanding to work productively, and is equipped with the skills necessary to accomplish the task, they're likely to stay focused throughout the course of the entire project. A leader, this is important, a leader who encourages creativity will build a stronger connection with team members, who are then likely to generate more innovative results. When a team encounters challenges, strong leaders provide the guidance necessary to resolve problems quickly and effectively. And I've seen that happen in many roles that I've had, both outside of Toastmasters and within. But when you are able to manage it and show people that you can manage the situation, when you can support the issues that need to be supported, when you're doing that effectively, you are creating a much stronger organization. And you are developing others. Leaders support team members by meeting their practical needs, encouraging creativity and innovation, and providing steady guidance through adversity. Steady guidance is very important. People like to see that whoever is at the helm is in control, or is at least in control of themselves, if they can't be in control of all the situations. And that's important. Team members are most likely to contribute at the highest level of their ability when their personal needs and goals are met. Now, to help each member fulfill his his or her needs and goals, a leader must have an understanding of the individual. The leader may need to fill the role of a mentor or coach, an enthusiastic supporter, in order to develop team members to their greatest potential. Leaders challenge team members to learn new skills and expect them to work to the best of their abilities. And if you can provide that level of support to your team members, it will be the strongest thing that you can do to help develop them. So please consider doing that effectively. Strong leaders recognize the value of honoring the efforts of the people that they lead. By praising diligent workers and making a point of recognizing positive contributions, and by respecting the ideas and opinions of others, they build a team that works towards reaching goals with commitment. Leaders recognize team members for their efforts and accomplishments. Now let's look at how to build a team, how to build that initial team that you're trying to build and put together. If you have the option to do so, select team members who have an interest in your project, or at least who will benefit from being involved. Make every effort to balance the group by including members with a wide variety of skills and expertise. If your team is predetermined through elections, like as in the club officers or in the district leadership, or through appointments made above your pay grade, if it's work related, you've been tasked to be a leader of a team that you aren't able to control, then you need to figure out what each member brings to the team so that you can effectively manage the team. We'll talk a little bit about this a little later. Once you have formed your team, bring them together and share your plan overview. Plan overview. That's a key word. So keywords, plan overview. You want to give members an opportunity to make suggestions about your plan and the best use of their talents. So it may change the plan a little bit. So don't be stuck on the plan too early until you've had a chance to review it and get feedback from your team members. So then you get into actually formulating the more detailed plan. And you formulate it based on the desired outcome, what resources you have available, what tasks need to get done, and when they need to get done by. Now, if you're working the Toastmasters year, you've got a very focused period of time that you have to work within. Or if you're working on an HPL project or something like that, you may have an unlimited amount of time, but you really want to get it done in a certain time frame that you have to meet goals that you may have set for yourselves. As mentioned earlier, meet with your team and discuss the skills or other contributions that each person brings to the project. For example, one person may have excellent technical skills. Another may be an accomplished public speaker. Another may have contacts with influential people that can help you achieve or get access to things that you need. Based on your discussions, delegate responsibilities by assigning team members to tasks that make the best use of their skills and abilities. Depending on the nature of your project, some of these categories could include public relations, project management, even finance. Invite each individual to identify at least one specific goal that they believe must be met to successfully complete the project. Now, goals should be SMART. That's specific, measurable, achievable or attainable, relevant, and have a time limit. And then record all the goals and take the time to review them with the team as a whole so that everyone gets to see what those goals are. Be sure that the accomplishment of each goal will move the project towards completion. Otherwise, it's not that much value in having it. And be prepared to revise as necessary based on whatever feedback is happening along the way and that you get along the way. Use that list of team member goals along with any goals that you have set for the project for yourself to establish milestones in your project plan. A milestone is an important point in the progress of your project, usually connected to the completion of a task or group of tasks. But it also helps you to do your review, make sure that you understand where you're at, and to see if you're going in the right direction, if your ship is headed in the right direction, or if you need to make some mid-course corrections. Once your tasks have been assigned and the milestones have been set, develop a timeline of the events. Include space for some periodic reviews of your progress and highlight the midway point so that you know when you're supposed to be halfway there, and you can check your goals against your timeline to see if it's measured completely, if you're on track. As you reach each milestone, meet with your team, or at least pause to review the progress on the overall project to make sure that we're all on track. Most importantly, or very important, is making sure that you're sharing the information. Keep your plan as simple as possible and just share a copy of with each person on your team. Be sure each team member has access to any information that he or she needs, such as contact information for how to get a hold of you and other team members, as well as what tools, providing them access to tools that are required to complete their assignments or their tasks. And as a team leader, providing support comes in the form of clearing obstacles to enable the project to move forward. Specifically, a leader may offer team members encouragement, validation, or emotional support. But removing those barriers is a key thing. So look for where there's an obstacle to getting something done and do what you can to make sure that you help remove those barriers. Support may also manifest itself in relationships outside of the team. You may need to uphold the team's goals and achievements with some external stakeholders or other groups within an organization. Challenges may arise that require you to make decisions or resolve conflicts between team members. You may also need to be present to help the team accomplish specific tasks. A successful leader provides support by keeping the lines of communication open between both him or herself and her team, and among individual team members. Fluid and effective communication can eliminate many conflicts and challenges before they arise. Now, make the best decisions possible regarding when to intervene in challenges or conflicts within your team. You also need to recognize when to remain silent and let others complete their work without your involvement. Trust. This is important. Trust the judgment of your team members. Give them the freedom to act and to take responsibility for the results. By allowing your team members to do the jobs assigned to them without interference, you create an environment in which individuals feel a sense of ownership of the project as a whole. A sense of ownership generates enthusiastic participation and greater commitment. And this is one of the areas that is done. I do a lot in my work. I have staff, and I've often had staff, either matrix or direct, that I let them do their job. And if you let them do their job, they grow, they develop, they learn. You have to be there to let them know when things need to be corrected, but you also need to be there to let them know when they've done a great job, to recognize their accomplishments. Now, as work progresses on a project, you need to hold regular reviews. I mentioned this earlier. You need to have those regular reviews with your team to keep them informed. You may use this type of review or this type of meeting to share the overall progress of the project itself and to acknowledge contributions or give general feedback to your group. Give each team member the opportunity to speak during these reviews. By allowing them to speak, they can express their concerns and share successes. By doing so, you establish an environment where communication and appreciation flourish. In each meeting, address the highest priority items first to make sure that you accomplish as much as possible in the allotted time. And beforehand, you should review the agenda just to make sure before the meeting begins. And if you see that a single issue is particularly complex, it might be more efficient to talk about smaller items before you get into a complex one. Just be respectful of your members' time and ability to get their job done and deal with whatever they have to deal with outside of the organization if this is in a volunteer organization. Now, obstacles and conflict can be a part of even the most well-planned projects. As a leader, it's your job to view objects as manageable challenges. If your project stalls, you'll need to work towards finding a solution and simultaneously keep the team focused on the plan. But challenges and obstacles can be an opportunity to unite as a team. I find that they provide a great opportunity to build trust and relationships by figuring out how to do this and seeing that you're able to accomplish those tasks of overcoming these challenges and obstacles. Be realistic about any challenge that you do face. Every problem or obstacle tests your project plan as well as your leadership abilities. Focus first on the immediate impact of a challenge, then seek input from your team where possible and solve what you can. Minor challenges may require small adjustments to your timeline or plan, but generally have little impact on the overall project as a whole. More significant challenges may have a larger impact. When the obstacle you face is more than a small challenge, you'll need to evaluate your plan to see if it is still viable given the new situation. And if your original plan is still workable, solve the problem as effectively as you can. If it is necessary to revise your plan, work with your team to create new goals, tasks, and deadlines. It is possible that challenges you encounter will deal with people. Personality conflicts or disagreements about the way tasks should be done may affect the team's attitude and productivity. As a leader, it's your job to facilitate resolution to these types of conflicts. Whenever possible, allow team members to resolve conflicts without your intervention. If you must be involved to reach a solution, facilitate conversations between team members. Spend extra time and effort encouraging team members to communicate. Only impose your solution to a problem as a last resort. Empowering team members to solve their own problems can be more time-consuming than establishing a solution of your design, but it will do more to strengthen commitment and build relationships than any solution you could offer. This is one thing that I've learned at work, and my work role is just letting people learn and develop on their own. And people do rise to the occasion. We see this within Toastmasters in the leadership roles. You think that that person will never be able to make it as a president or never be able to make it as a director of some sort because they just don't have the skills to do it. But when you let them take on that role and you empower them in that role, they grow, they learn, and they rise to the occasion. Most will rise to the occasion. So be aware of that and be cognizant of it and provide the support necessary, but it's a great opportunity for people to develop. However, occasionally you may encounter a team member whose performance impairs the team's work. Meet with the individual privately to discuss the problem. Be clear and concise in explaining each issue and offer solutions and support. If the team member's performance is less than satisfactory after a private meeting and time to make the changes, then it may be necessary to remove the member from your team. Toastmasters has a mechanism to remove district and club officers as well as club members if they are detrimental to the overall good of the organization. I'm not saying you should do that without thinking about it and being thoughtful about it, but if you do have a bad apple in that group, they can pull it down and they can spoil the whole batch of apples. I've seen that happen in clubs. I've seen that happen in other parts of the organization. If you have someone who is poisonous and pulling down everyone else, they need to be removed. And Toastmasters, as I said, has the processes in place to support you to make sure that that happens and you're able to operate effectively and efficiently. Now, from a leadership point of view, as your project progresses, you might want to take the time to review the development of your own leadership skills. Once you've had several interactions with team members and faced challenges and coordinated work on your project, you now have an opportunity to pause and reflect back on how you've done and maybe make some mid-course corrections if you need to be able to resolve anything that ought to be done a little bit better and you recognize could have been done better. Once your project is complete, take the time to review the results. Meet with your team to debrief the final result and the experience of working together to achieve that goal. Whether you actually achieved the original goal or not is irrelevant. The fact that you worked together as a team and created something and came up with something presumably positive is a good thing. You need to celebrate that. Thank your team for their commitment and effort to help you complete the project and fulfill a part of your vision. Now, we have now completed the session on building a team. There are lots of resources available out there on the internet. But one of the things that I wanted to point out is that if you are taking a leadership track within Pathways, that there is a high performance leadership manual built into level 5 of your Pathways. And it is where I received or captured most of the information for this session. It is a very valuable resource manual. If you've already done an HPL in prior to Pathways, there's that manual, that HPL manual, High Performance Leadership Manual, will be very valuable, and please feel free to use it as well in helping guide you through your leadership challenges and to build your own team. Now, normally at this time we would pause for questions. However, since the session is being pre-recorded, we don't have any today, so we're going to move on to the conclusion. Now, the Seminar Sunday schedule to the end of the month and the end of the year includes 3 more sessions. June 16th is on the Toastmasters International Annual Business Meeting Preview. June 23rd is on setting goals and planning forward. June 30th, this is giving a little bit of a time for you to realize that there's only 1 year left to complete your DTM, your Distinguished Toastmasters level, on a legacy education system. Of course, you can have forever to work through the new Pathway system, but the legacy system has only 1 year to go. Are you on track to complete your DTM? Thank you all for attending this week's Seminar Sunday. I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Take care and have a good day.